What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing, getting ready here for our live session. And yes, it's not only a day full of tacos, surf is up and it's beautiful. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to everyone. Looking forward to this session, and it's what a nice time, huh? What a nice time right now to be riding these waves. It is really, really beautiful out there, and let's go get it. Let's go get it. Thank you for that. I appreciate that support, right? What's going on with silver? There's not everything going on in the markets right now is so beautiful. So I'm looking forward to taking a look at that with all of you right now. All right. Before we get, thank you very much. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Everyone who goes ahead and smashes that like button, showing your love. I appreciate that so much. Helping this channel out. This channel is phenomenal. We started late November. Of last year, and we have built just what an outstanding community we've built. So I'm grateful for all of you. That's right. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Surf's up out there. You gotta love it. Yeah. All right. I'm just enjoying greeting you all this morning. And since the markets are so smooth right now, we could do it. Boom, boom. Let's shake the room. That's right. Let's do it. All right. Let's take a look. Let's see what's going on out there, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Let's get to it. First thing I want you to see, I guess we'll start here on the S&P 500. And look, this is as clear as day to every one of you, right? And when I say it's as clear as day, this is what we've been looking for and following, right? We had the break of the resistance, the 32 level, and then what happened? We're now retracing back, testing that broken resistance to see if it's confirmed as support, right? It's been a clear retest right into the very level itself. If we start making higher highs now, then it's the time to get long. Tesla's earnings are later today. That's a big deal because if those earnings are positive, and they are expected to be positive, That means they will be included to the S&P 500. That is something that a bull market would take and go ahead and, continue some euphoric rides on, right? That's a big deal. Now, after Tesla is actually added to the S&P 500, that's normally right around the very top of when companies are added to the S&P and what happens afterwards. All right. So we've had quite a nice rise here on Tesla. You expect more of a rise on the individual stock Tesla, not investment advice. Past performance is not indicative of future results, but I'm expecting here with you Tesla, considering the markets, Fed's buying, Fed's printing, asset prices are being inflated, going up. Looking for Tesla, we're going to see if it peaks around the time it's added, like other companies normally do. Bitcoin lagging, but we're not going to get into Bitcoin yet. We're going to first take a look right now at the S&P, and I just want everyone to be clear, right? This is what we've been looking for, waiting for. This is the breakout, the pullback into the broken resistance. See if it firms up as support. Any resumption back upwards is an entry long at this point. Now, the Nasdaq turned green earlier today. You can see the Nasdaq also in a pullback right now. That's not a double top. And, any resumption out, also good place to get long the Nasdaq. You could see the Dow has been leading, which is real. And I'm going to bring that up right now in the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. But the Dow leading the three indexes this morning, and that's good news. That's good news for a further sustained rally that we're seeing over here. Giles, good morning. Great to see you over here. We haven't had a run on gold. It's a good question. But let me just plant that in my mind as we turn to gold and silver in 1 second. Will, good morning. Great to see you over here. Oh, you guys are great. We're going to get back to gold and silver in 1 second for sure. Silver, bombastic. Australia. I was talking this morning. I was iMessaging my family chat, letting my little nephew know. Do you remember when I gave you that silver? Right? Remember when I gave you that silver? It was like at $14 an ounce. I gave it to you to teach you a lesson about money, which you will come to understand in the future. Got to get him off that Robin Hood mindset. All right. So Australian dollar, Japanese yen. You can see that it is over here right now, looking and taking out the June 20th high over here. Dow also now getting setting up an attempt at least at the June high. If it breaks it, that would be then 3 of the 3 indexes making new swing highs. Nasdaq all-time highs. So gold and silver. By the way, this is all a what? A dollar story, right? We have been very clear about that, and we just took out the 95 support here today. Let's see what that means over there. You could see. So this whole breakdown of this channel we had on the dollar, I'm not going to really get into that right now, right? But it was this area over here where my mouse is right now. You could watch it horizontally. Once we broke that level, right, we came back down. This has all been soft dollar for us. Even though going until this point, my bias was that the dollar was going to strengthen. Until we broke technically, I'm always following the macro and putting it all together because it's so important. But ultimately, I let the technicals be I'm a technician. All right, so we became dollar bears. Does that make me a dollar bear, even though I'm a long-term dollar bull, maybe? I don't know. All right, anyway, we took out the 95 level over here, right? And what does that mean? Are we going to see a further breakdown? That's what we're looking for. It looks to me like the June. Oh, this is a March during crisis low. And then you remember how the dollar shot up like a rocket. That was awesome. It looks like we're coming to test that. I think we're going to take that out. And then when we take that out, I mean, we're looking at, 93.86, 94, at least, maybe even lower, 93.24. Those are where we'll be looking next if we break down. It doesn't mean it'll be straight down, and it could be. I don't know how it's going to play out at all. But this looks right now, today's price action, if you look at over here, it looks like you're zooming off the 95 support. And then all of a sudden, boom, a fake out to the downside. Looks like the momentum is going to just continue as it should. As it should. Look at silver was up this morning. That line over there on silver, that's since the crisis low, and it's up 100%, you know, or 98%, 100% off the crisis lows now. And you're seeing silver was up 7% this morning. It was up 5%, limit up overnight. And then, you know, Bitcoin doesn't have to go. There's no limits on Bitcoin. So by the way, Bitcoin is the best performing asset since the March lows, up 140% to date, 145% to date. The best performing asset, but silver's up 100%. Let's give it up for silver for sure, you know. But you know, you could see some profit taking perhaps this morning. I don't know. You know, when do you buy into silver? Like, this is not like this move. There's a headline I'll share with you that was perfect. By the way, I will share this with you. Not this. I want to share this. This is a video on CNBC that says why printing trillions of dollars may not cause inflation. Okay. So this is the Brent Johnson, Lynn Alden interview that was for premium Real Vision subscribers. Came out today. So I will get that out. I'll send that link out in the chat. And then this is the headline. You know, silver's spike above 23 has a long way to go. The canary is dropping dead. It's a good headline, right? And it's the truth. Like, silver's just getting started here at 23 as it heads towards what, 100, right? So, you know, you want to buy off support. Is that the pullback you're looking for and waiting for on silver? So far off the high, silver has pulled back. Is that a 7% off the high? Yeah. 7% pullback on silver at any point, in my opinion, is a good place to buy. Period. The end. 5% on gold. Any 5% on gold pullback is a good place to buy. Bitcoin, you know, any 15% pullback on Bitcoin is a good place to buy, as is a 25-30% pullback, another place to add during the bull market. So yeah, that's what I think about silver. Adding earlier this morning, will we come back and test that? Yeah, if you come back and test that level, which is a 7% drawdown over there, I think that's a good place to step in and look to buy silver. You know, $21.30 silver is getting more expensive. Are we going to be looking at higher prices in silver? I think so. This is a dollar story, and the dollar is headed which way right now? We're seeing big moves, and it's nice. It's really nice. We're going to look a little closer today at the FX. By the way, if anyone's enjoying spending this time together, go ahead and smash that like button this morning, please. Please go ahead and just give me a little bit of boost. And then we'll get going over here. What fundamentals are pushing silver up? Jason, so when I say that we're looking at a dollar story, what I mean by that is everything is priced in dollars. As you're seeing the dollar devalue. You were seeing on the way up, by the way. On the way up, you were seeing in January to February, January of this year to February on the US dollar, you were seeing a huge move up here. And also that was occurring on gold at the same time. So you were seeing gold and the dollar moving both up at the same time. It's a very different story when you see the dollar moving down and gold moving up. And that's what you're seeing right now. You are seeing gold move up against every fiat currency, and now just about to make new all-time highs against the US dollar. And once that starts happening, there's going to be way further downside over here. And the dollar, the reason that the fundamentals behind the dollar weakening is not only just right now the enormous expansion of the Fed's balance sheet because of the crisis, of the dollar liquidity crisis, but also now you have the government, you know, going out there and just looking to spend trillions of dollars. We have more stimulus coming soon. Yesterday, we saw the market sell off a little bit when they said that, you know, the stimulus is not going to be passed within the next 2 weeks, but the stimulus is going to be passed, right? And then that's fundamentally what's going on over here. You're just seeing the destruction of the dollar. And you're seeing, when you have propaganda pieces put out that say why printing trillions of dollars may not cause inflation. I mean, it's true that QE is deflationary. And since 2008, I mean, it's deflationary for how inflation is tracked. Let me back that up right away. It is definitely inflationary for asset prices. Since 2008, you've seen the stock market go on a 12-year gigantic bull run, and they just added more QE. That's happening again. That's just getting set off when we talk about, this is not going parabolic on the Nasdaq. That's just getting warmed up. Go back to the 2008 crisis, watch what happens once they stop pouring on the QE. QE inflates asset prices. That creates the greater division between the haves and the have-nots. It creates the loss of the middle class. It creates the destruction of society. But either which way, the printer goes burr. Good morning. Good morning. Yep, they don't even need printers today. It's all done digitally. They just press the 0 button and then enter, and then markets are going higher. We're there. We're following them. Are we waiting and watching for? Is the economy the markets? I think we're learning otherwise. You remember in Venezuela what happened, right? What happened in Venezuela as the economy went to nothing? The stock market flew, right? We're going to see further headlines. We're going to be printing those trillions of dollars. Eventually it will cause inflation. For sure, this could continue to be deflationary for a long time. But if that's happening, we're still going to see these asset prices go up. That's why we are looking to be on the right side. That's why you're seeing silver fundamentally go up over here. Do I think $23 is cheap compared to where we're going on silver? There's no question about it. There's no question about it. I mean, hey, look, $31 silver. Like, if you don't see the path that we're headed and why, and that's just getting started. What about gold, right? As soon as it starts making new all-time highs, this thing's just getting started. Bitcoin hasn't got started yet. Bitcoin needs to first break out this trend line over here. Once Bitcoin breaks above this trend line over here, and then you could confirm it up now at 10,400, but no longer. Now it's just the break of this trend line will be setting off the bull market, right? And that's coming in right now somewhere around 9,800. So Bitcoin, if you look over what's happened, this is showing Bitcoin is up. Can you imagine once Bitcoin gets going, what its return off the low of the crisis is going to be? Forget about it. Again, I just made a trade, my first one in 2 months on Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin. And now I have made purchases of Bitcoin. Those were not trades over the last 2 months since over here, my last 2 ads over there. And now, this looks beautiful. This looks nice. You're seeing here the break of that trend line I took it off of, right? Coming up. And so far, we continue to push upwards. Are we getting ready for a run at the trend line? I think there's a decent chance this was the low over here. This was the swing low over here. If we make a run up at this trend line, I think that we break it. We're about to get going here on Bitcoin. Where are we? Let's get into some FX pairs today. The reason FX has been just so lovely that we've been riding these trades that I personally have not been taking new setups. I've been really riding these waves with a longboard, right? With a longboard. And that's the expansion happening right now over here. I'm looking here at the Euro US dollar this morning. The reason I just put this, I had this trend line here, obviously. And then when you start going, almost parabolic. By the way, Eric has sent me some further. Did anyone see the video I shared on Eric and the Shanghai short? Because he's pointed out parabolic setups now obviously on silver, on Bitcoin one about to develop possibly. Interesting stuff. Silver ETF. Whoever knows a silver ETF, go ahead and share that with Brian, please. It was shared yesterday, Brian, on the comments in the most recently uploaded video. I asked what are the best gold and silver ETFs for those that trade the public markets. Yeah, that's true too. The U.S. is no Venezuela. The US is no Venezuela by any means. The US, I do not believe, is going hyperinflation or anything close to that. If we're talking about a devaluation of the dollar and a loss of the reserve currency, and that de-dollaration is happening, it's really happening. Again, I used to talk about that a year ago, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and people will get really triggered about it. Whatever, it's happening, right? Russia sold all of its treasuries and Russia's buying gold. Russia was ahead of almost every single fund who's now doing the same thing. Wait until one of them starts buying Bitcoin. All right. So what's going on over here? Is it time to start looking at taking profits on these moves? That's the question to be answered today because we're following the flow of the market. It seems to me that there's some room to go over here. It's not until we get into the resistance. By the way, that resistance goes back what? It goes back 12 years, right? It goes back 12 years. And as we come up towards the outer part of that resistance, I will be taking profits at that point and then say, okay, this current expansion has gone too far too fast. This is the resistance I'm taking profits into. No question about it. Now, if we wind up eventually breaking this resistance, at that point, that means that we're seeing a further move against the US dollar. That's all could be happening, but at the same time, as we come into that resistance, is an area for me to take profit if we get up there for sure. And then not only that, would I be looking to play the dollar this way? We'll talk about that as that unfolds and as that happens. I'm going to be tracking the DXY over here. So is it possible, again, that we come back down into that area we spoke about this morning? Are we going to be testing 94? If we do, we're going to see the euro US dollar make that move into that resistance, right? So for anyone following along, that's a place then across the board really to probably look to take profits. For example, on the euro Japanese yen, also continue to be long, right? Working towards, I got to take a profit this morning on the Australian dollar Japanese yen, right? The first piece off over here. Second piece off to me, it looks like a run up into that 78, 79 area. That looks like a potential take profit area on the euro Japanese yen. So the question is, this is the question that I'm asking myself. I'm just catching up on the comments over there. This is the question I'm asking myself right now in the currency markets because of the expansion of range we're seeing, because of the movement, the flow of the market that we're seeing. It's strong and it's real, and it's happening for reasons that we've kind of been way ahead of, waiting to unfold, right? So we're all so on the right side of the market. It's ridiculous, right? So now, like, what happens from here? When I say what happens from here, I mean, is the yen going into a period where you're going to see, let's look at the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. We broke this trend line over here. This was going back 2 years, this trend line, right? And you could see now we've taken out that first swing high over there. So we're looking for this thing to keep going, but is it going to stop over here at 79? Or is this thing going much, much, much higher, right? Is it getting back? Is this headed towards 87? And that's, so I don't know if it's time to try to turn some nice swing trades, the bigger portions of those swing trades left on, into position trades. I'm considering keeping stop losses at break even and just letting these things continue to go, not taking profit where I normally would if I reach that, another resistance level away where I normally would. So that's what I'm working out. How long have you been trading stocks? Yeah, so Enrique, I haven't traded stocks since I think 2003. Since 2003, yeah. So yeah, I used to trade for a private equity firm, and then I traded the E-minis, the ES for quite a while, for about 18 months on my own. But that was back in like 2001, 2002, 2003. Somewhere around that time. I don't trade stocks. Yeah. So GBT, I do own GBTC. inside a retirement fund. Yeah, I don't really think that infection rates are affecting the markets or individual currencies one way or the other, and haven't since the beginning. So that's not something I watch for at all. That's not something I watch for at all. Yeah, the micro means I didn't even know that was a thing. I haven't traded futures also 17 years. Oh, kind of lost that. Let me try to get that back up for you. All right, so let's see what else is going on. I just needed to share my whole as the market here is doing what it's doing, and I have to kind of like don't forget. I don't think anyone here forgets, anyone that was here, that everyone remembers. But back during the crisis over here, back during the February March crisis over here, we were doing that same thing. We were like, all right, everyone, you need to now be looking to take swing trades and push them longer than normal, right? Are we seeing that now on this huge extension to the upside? It looks to me that the markets here are doing their thing. Again, I think that they were just getting warmed up. So Australian dollar. By the way, someone yesterday pointed out this Euro Canadian dollar setup here in the live stream. It was one of the few FX pairs we looked at, and they said, is this a buy right now as we came down and tested that support? You could see over here, this was resistance going back for a while. If that was you who pointed that out, anyone, go ahead and hit that like button. And then, price came up, broke that resistance, tested it, came up, came back down, tested again. And they were asking, is that what we're looking for? And we said, yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for. Not that I would take it. I'm already involved in some trades, but that's exactly what we're looking for. There's the entry, the resumption off. And that's a nice trade. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, that's irrelevant. I'm sorry. I don't want to confuse anyone. I took it in multiple places though, Gene. The truth is, I took it in multiple places. I took it on through three different brokers in three different places. But so, and I'm not really, anyway, I'm looking for Bitcoin to get going over here, and Bitcoin is not get going. You're seeing silver make these big moves over here, right? And wait till Bitcoin gets going. Then you're going to see some big moves. You're going to see violent moves to the upside. It's the same thing as on the S&P 500. Whereas if you don't have the largest 10 trading days a year, then you're not even profitable. It's the same thing on Bitcoin. It's the 10 biggest moves of the year that make up, whatever it is, over 95% of the profit for the year. Think about that. Well, I don't know, Max. Again, we saw a 7% drawdown on silver. That's pretty good. Obviously things don't go straight up forever, but for sure we're just getting. Thanks, Perry. Silver is my new favorite crypto, by the way. And yeah, it's acting like an altcoin, right? And a lot of people, which is really cool, a lot of people who are really just crypto minded, very much are into silver. There's definitely that overlap. And it's funny, there's almost more, there is with gold also, but more of an overlap with silver. A lot of them saw that silver was undervalued. Actually went over here and liked Omar's tweet. Omar was showing, was this the best investment he ever made? Not really. It was Ethereum. But he bought this Silver Eagle monster box, right? And he bought it at a price of 1660 silver. 16 silver up to right now it's at $22. I'm sure Omar's holding this. I'm sure he's not selling it at any point in time. And he's talked about, by the way, how hard it is to sell gold and silver. It's not easy to go and go downtown and try to sell physical gold and silver. APMX, they buy it from you. You could ship it to them. You pay a premium on both sides. That's a good question. That's something that is happening. You're seeing a lag of crypto behind precious metals. So, Edward, that's very true, right? Why are we seeing this lag? Maybe not all coins. All coins have been doing all right. I mean, first of all, Bitcoin has outperformed silver, which is the best performing asset now, better than gold since the crisis low is silver. Gold was the best performing outside of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the best performing asset since the crisis, and Bitcoin hasn't got started yet. Bitcoin, regardless of whether there was a crisis or not, was getting ready to enter its bull market phase. It had nothing to do with the crisis, and it had to do all with the 4-year cycle, how many more blocks to the next Bitcoin halving, its monetary policy already set in code, and regardless, Bitcoin is getting ready to do its thing. Now, take the extra juice here that the Fed is supplying, inflating assets. We know that there's a correlation, at least in a crisis, between the equity markets and Bitcoin, as there is between all assets. And we saw that happen over here. We saw that huge stuff. But right now we're seeing a weakening of the dollar. That looks like it's a trend that's developing and set to continue. And that means that this is the perfect environment for Bitcoin to fly. You are seeing the precious metals, when I say you see gold getting ready to make new all-time highs, right? Silver's not close to doing that. Silver is way off its all-time high over here of $50, right? So you could say that silver's lagging still by a great margin. Gold is not lagging. Gold is leading. We talked about how gold would do the hard work and then silver would follow. You've seen over the past week silver become the best performing asset compared to gold and silver. I don't know what palladium's doing. But as far as gold and silver, silver's now outshining gold here. And Bitcoin still remains 140% off its lows compared to silver's 100% off its lows. And I don't know why. Except that if the crisis didn't happen, Bitcoin probably still would not have broken this trend line. Because if you go back to the last halving and how many months it took after the halving, and it's different, it's not the same thing, but it's a general guideline, how many months it took for Bitcoin to go out and take its last swing high. Bitcoin is really doing its own thing as it does and is on pace. You could saw yesterday that Bitcoin was up a few percent or a couple percent or 2.5%, while the S&P was down. You see that correlation starting to break. Palladium, Palladium, I could pull it up later for us, Skips. How far Palladium is off its lows. I'm interested to see. Someone told me a mouse shortcut. It's only up 43% off its lows. So that Palladium is lagging right now, 43% off its lows. Copper's up also 50% off its lows. Gold and silver are now shining, and Bitcoin, which is again 144% off its lows. It's getting ready. It's getting ready here. I'm now saying a break of this trend line will be the start of the bull market, because now we have a decent enough difference between the 10,400 resistance and the break of the trend line connecting the all-time high. That's the line I've been watching. And, we'll see. Hold shift to measure. I'm on a Mac. Yeah. Palladium has had a fantastic run up until this point. We'll see going forward, though. We'll see going forward over the next 12 months. I think silver leads. We'll see what happens. Danny, did my analysis this morning. Many possible set. We're going to take a look at that right now then, Danny. Many possible setups which make it difficult to decide where to put my money. So I've been, again, just pushing trades, not looking for new entries. Let's take a look and see what's going on out there. Let's see if there's any possibilities for entries right now. We're going to start here. Let's take a look at the dollar. Let's start with the dollar over here. And you can see the violent move the dollar experienced to the downside this morning, taking out that 95 support, like initially holding and then going ahead and actually making a higher high and then reversing down right over here right now. So that looks like we should see a continuation of this oversold. Oversold can remain oversold, right? Once it starts going. Here's a perfect example of overbought remaining overbought until it, and I don't think we're looking at anything like that, coming up, but we are seeing this move over here extend down. Also for sure though, you have to be aware of every side. And for example, this blue line right now is getting moved down to here. If we were to trade back above this morning's price action, that would say to us, all right, it looks like this move then for the time being might have spiked out. We're going to see some type of retrace and consolidation. Let's see how high it goes. Let's see if we could sell again off 95.84, or perhaps now we are coming down and we are going to be testing, somewhere around 96.40. So those are the things that we're following right now. So as we get into the pairs right now, I mean, I'm not. Was anyone looking to take, for example, something like this? I wasn't looking to add. That's for sure. Like when you see the pullback over here and then the fake up and this violent move up, that's not an entry that I don't like to chase volatility like that. So I'm just kind of holding. As we look around, this is where the market is it's expanding. I don't want to say violently, but it's expanding forcefully, right? So entering a new position right now, I don't want to trade against this market. I don't pick tops, and I don't want to trade against any of this. I want to continue, hopefully, consolidating now and continuing making legs up. So as we get into consolidation over the next couple of days, and not today, and definitely not today. We'll see maybe tomorrow. That would be the earliest. Is it possible tomorrow during London? Maybe. I can't. At this point, I don't think so. At this point, I think it's better to wait. But once we start seeing these consolidations, then you could start looking for the next leg up. That's going to be for every single FX pair, I believe. We'll take a look. We'll go through everything slowly. If anyone's watching anything, let us know. That's awesome. That's a good play for those, right, looking to play the crypto markets in a public investment. There could be some volatility. You know. Trying to catch up right over here. Does Ethereum usually follow the BTC trend? I mean, all of crypto follows the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. All of crypto is dependent on Bitcoin and follows its 4-year cycle. But it looks like alt season is beginning here right now. I always said 5 or 6 months after the halving. That would put us at June, July, August, September. All right, October to November is when alt season should be like really here. That's the research I've done. And it looks like right now we're getting warmed up, right? So getting long alts here makes sense. Yeah, I started after seeing, I pointed out a long time ago, because I don't follow alts, right? I pointed out a long time ago that Linked and Tezos, in my opinion, along with Monero, would lead the way up here on this alt cycle. And Linked and Tezos are starting to do that for sure. I'm trying to delete this for 1 second. So we'll see. I'm not really concerned about the altcoins, but I did take a position in both Tezos and Links when I saw that it was down, what, 15%? 20%. and I took a position in both of those, and I'm looking to add to those positions further up on further pullbacks. I'll be looking to add to those positions, and I'll probably be for some time build up a long position. It's with an extremely small amount of money of allocation of my overall portfolio, extremely small. And hopefully, though, hopefully over the next 12, 18 months and continuing to add to them as price continues to rise, maybe that small portion could become something a little bit bigger, on the overall portfolio. Yeah. So going back to when I first put them, I said, listen, I don't have the desire to. It took me 2 years of researching Bitcoin, a significant amount of my time spent researching Bitcoin. It took me 2 years to understand it, and not that uh, you know, generally speaking, for most people that I generally am around, I know the most about Bitcoin. But of course, I've been in rooms with people who know far more than I could ever understand about Bitcoin. And I don't really care to do that about these other altcoins, which are not competing for money as Bitcoin is. So I just could see from it's the kind of way I'm able to read between headlines. And I read Zero Hedge, I read Twitter, uh, and I understand that you have to be able to discern, as everyone does, which headlines to read, which ones are you have to avoid, which ones are basically just propaganda. And same thing, I was able to tell from what was going on in the bear market, just by listening to the noise that linked in Tezos something was going on there. So it was just a feeling. It was just a feeling of always being aware of what's going on around me. Thank you, Kenster. I appreciate that very much. I do. Thank you, Kenster. That's the comment of the day. Awesome. So I guess where we're at right now when we talk about these currency pairs, we're gonna look through them. I am under the impression that there's nothing that I'm gonna find, but I'm gonna force myself to look through them all just to confirm that. Ethereum breaking out of a 1-year long downtrend resistance. So, I mean, we'll see when when Ethereum can make violent moves to the upside here as well, right? So we'll see what happens. 358, that looks like the next target here on Ethereum, and I don't think that's the high on Ethereum by any means. Now, I don't know whether or not Ethereum makes new highs or not during the next bull market run. I honestly don't. But and maybe it'll crush it. I have no idea. But I do believe that we're taking out 358. And, I would strongly bet that we're going to be taking out probably 833. That's pure speculation, But those seem like pretty strong bets. I also started positioning into Ethereum, by the way. Those three, Tezos, Linked, and Ethereum, small positions. The three of them together, the three together is a small position. How about that? Do you only buy the S&P futures since equities could be closed when you see an entry? It just, listen, I avoided the S&P actually for 17 years, and it was only during the crisis that I just jumped in and started crushing it, and therefore also for a portion of this rebound as well to the upside. And you have to follow the S&P, right? To kind of get that overall feel of the market. Whether or not that's something that you want to invest in, if you want to invest in stocks and things like that. Again, for me, it's been a long time, 17 years. I don't invest in the stock market. There's so many. The thing about Forex, unlike, what do you have a choice between? You have a choice between TD Ameritrade, Think or Swim. You don't, in foreign exchange, you have just an enormous amount of brokers. All have been around for a long time with excellent reputations, with platforms that work and are easy to use, you know. So anyway, it's a different beast. Why is my chat being deleted when posting? I don't know. Oh, I'm seeing your message. I don't know. I'm seeing your message. So, yeah. Oh, I don't know. I never heard of that broker. There are so many. It depends where you're located. If you're located in the US, Oanda, FX Trade, connected directly to trading you, phenomenal, phenomenal choice. I used to trade with them back in 2003. IC Markets is a good broker. Traders Way, kind of like a choice for those in the US. Tick Mill has extremely low fees and is extremely good for scalping. We're not scalpers. Nevertheless, the fees there are fantastic. About me, what are you posting about media, Stefan? What did Monk say? Jordan, June, not July, huh? Are we in the wrong month? Thank you, Monk. Thank you, Monk. Definitely appreciate that. I'll fix that though after we get off here later. But thank you for that. That's important. That's important. I've never used IG. There's so many good Forex brokers that it is almost ridiculous. All right, let's take a look. Start with the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. Yeah, you're seeing that continued yen weakness. The Canadian dollar probably will continue to rise versus the yen. Nevertheless, that's not where I want to invest or trade, right? But you can see over here, this is kind of beautiful, right? You can see that this was the last resistance, then the support over there. This line, I don't look at this pair, so it's a little off, but that's a beautiful break of that resistance. Confirming it there. Boom. It's a nice trade. Yeah, so so the US, by the way, the market, one of the first signs for us that the market was choosing the pathway of up was that the market kept blowing off the rising tensions between US and China, which is really clear that we're on a clear escalation trajectory, and that's going to continue through the election. If Biden wins the election, then probably all tensions with China will cease, right? And we'll continue going back to how we were. Actually, Biden has close connections with China. They gave his son a multi-million-dollar fund to run, and his son doesn't even do that type of stuff. If Trump wins, the escalations between China and the U.S. are going to escalate like nobody's business. It's going to become hot. Not hot as in a firing war, God forbid. I hope not. But it is going to become, Trump doesn't have to worry about being reelected, and he's going to come down extremely hard, protecting American interests. So is that something the market's going to worry about if Trump is elected? Maybe. As that happens in the future, that could become a real problem. But right now, that's not happening. The election is still, quite a, the market's forward looking, but it's not predicting yet who won the election or anything like that. Steve, are we still on that, brother? You're having some type of problem, but no one else is. I'm not sure what you're trying to post about, but I'm seeing all your other posts. I think that Bitcoin is break after that support line, and there's no lower anymore. We're getting close to that potentially happening. It's going to be, again, once we break the trend line, bull market has started on Bitcoin. Once we break 10,400, then we'll confirm the bull market phase has begun. And at that point, also, then we could go back and we could be like, all right, that was the last swing low we're making there. Like, we're not seeing that again. But that we can't do that yet. We can't do that yet. All right, Steve, you sent it on Twitter. That's cool. Are we looking for entries here on the S&P? Are you looking? I was just talking about whether or not you should be trading the S&P 500, and that's up to you. But yeah, this is a potential entry here for sure. For sure, you start resuming up after testing that broken resistance, confirming that area of support. That's a big time buy signal over there on the S&P. For me, same thing with the Nasdaq. It resumes up out of this, of course. And let's see, earlier the Dow was leading. It looks like it's kind of just up mildly, giving back some earlier gains, not too much actually. And it's a dollar story, and that's all it is. So let's see what happens with the dollar today. This type of price action, we can move our blue line down now because we know that after that type of price action, that was a big reversal we saw this morning. Yep, in Houston, Chris. So what happened yesterday? There was a big. The fire department had to go down to the Chinese consulate because they were burning in the dumpster documents. The police were called, and then since the United States is giving them 72 hours to get out because basically they're just running a big spy operation over in Houston. Yeah. So in the description below, my Twitter's not there. I will go ahead and post that then, and I'll try to include that in the description. I apologize for that. There we go. There's my Twitter. What else do we have over here? Amateurs talk about trades, but professionals create trading systems. Yeah, nothing else going on over here on Twitter to share with you all today. Nothing going on to share with you all today. This interview, though, I was listening to earlier this morning, and it's absolutely phenomenal. I've only gotten, more or less 15 minutes through. So I don't know about the rest, but the conversation that I'm following, I highly recommend to each and every one of you. So go ahead and pull up that link also. Who wants to know if they could freely speak? What's going on? There's like a side conversation I'm not even privy to. Steven, you seem very upset about something. I don't know what it is, but now during the live stream is not really the time for me to really get into that. We're just going over charts here. I don't know what is going on over there. Or who needs to speak freely, Or like, oh my goodness, I have no idea what's going on. Oh, all right. So, what else are we looking at over here? Markets have been open 20 minutes, not really anything happening. Are the markets waiting to see Tesla's earnings later today? Is that what this is about? Obviously, this is not a Tesla market. This is a dollar market. But like, you need a narrative. Here's what the equities markets are focused in on today. I don't have any thoughts, Darren, on the treasuries. It's not my thing. And I'm only going to speak about something that I feel that I could add some really good insight to the conversation about. Coffee and charts. Would you take a profit on the S&P or QQQ since this is now an entry? No, I would not. We took by the way. So if you're asking about taking profits here on the equity markets, like this is where we took profits, right? In that whole area this morning over here. And then we said once we broke that resistance, we stayed out of the market this whole time. Once we broke the resistance to the upside, we would be looking then on a resumption up to add or test of the supports down here to look for that to hold and resume off. You're getting the resumption up right now on the markets. Yep. No, Bitcoin Cash is actually nothing. I don't know. Yeah. There's nothing about Bcash. Thanks, Rick. George Gammon. I'll have to check him out. I have never listened to him yet, but big shout out to Poland, by the way. But I never heard George. I'm gonna check him out. I think after this, see what you guys talking about. 1 trillion stimulus package. Yeah, I've noticed that the US dollar Mexican peso, that why I am short actually the US dollar Mexican peso, but that's not through swing trading. It's not what we're talking about. It's kind of lagging a little like the Dow. If the Dow starts making new June highs, that at this point, then it looks like we might be running down further. Peso's kind of on pause this week. You could see the markets extending upwards right over here above the closest resistance. US dollar, Mexican peso not yet making a new lower swing low below the support. The 22.16 support so far is holding. We'll see if we get a break of that or not. I hope we do. I hope we do. And, by the way, is like 1950, 19 or 20, call it, is that a possibility on the US dollar, Mexican peso? I don't know. I remember talking about 26 as being my target when the peso was trading down at $19. We hit that, right? We came within 25 cents of that. That was a pretty good call. I think we go lower now. I think that this dollar, what we're seeing here in the dollar, it really appears just to be getting started. Not saying that we go straight down or anything like that. We're just making a leg down right now, testing important support, taking out that 95 level this morning. If we break the low over here from March, we could then see some pretty big moves on the dollar incoming. Otherwise, let's look for consolidation, but the trend is definitely down. We're looking for that to continue. Yeah, I don't for anyone to looking. See, I don't know. Do you think the Dow, does anyone sincerely, if the Dow makes new June highs, do you think it'll be outperforming the S&P and Nasdaq going forward? I don't think so. I don't think the Dow is going to outperform tech by any means. So, but yeah, where's a good entry here right now? What are you looking at? I mean, right over here as you was the extension up. I don't know. I don't like it. I can tell by my voice. Nothing I'm looking for there. You know. Anyway, they're not really, the equity markets are kind of like not so exciting right now. Silver has been exciting, gold's been exciting, but we're really trying to position everyone, much lower into those supports to get into those trades right now. No. However, again, if I would have had a resting order in there off the high, I would have been happy about that. A 7% pullback on silver at this point. I think we go much, 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 much higher. You all know that, though. I want to go back to FX to see if there's anything else I could find, because I'm going to really be thorough about this morning. US dollar, Japanese yen, still nothing going on, though. You're seeing that weak Japanese yen. I am in my swing trades holding a short here on the US dollar, Swiss franc, after breaking that really important support level over here at 0.9376. Are we going to be testing the March low over here? Again, the dollar, we know which way that's going. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, everything is extended, which means that you have to wait for a pullback or consolidation. I don't see any motive to look to enter into positions right now. Today has been, or so far this morning, has been a take profit morning. On the Australian dollar, Japanese yen took the small piece off, but continued just to hold. Look at that move. So we don't trade against the trend. So no one here is like, oh, the market is coming into resistance and overextended, so I'm going to go ahead and short that. I mean, if you're shorting this, I think that you're on the wrong side of the market and are going to be really proven wrong. We could see a pullback and consolidation, be looking to buy that pullback and resumption off back towards this trend that's taking foot here. That's the move right now. That's the move. It looks like I also now got to take profit also on my first piece of the Euro Japanese yen as well. So that's good. And the other pieces, the other portions of these trades that I'm holding, I don't know. We'll see. I don't even have a take profit in mind for them yet. Let's see what happens today. Let's see how the market reacts today, most importantly, to the Tesla earnings, right? Let's see how the equity markets react to that. Are the markets then going to get, really bid up on the fact that Tesla will soon be added to the S&P? Who will be ousted for Tesla on the S&P? Someone that has no earnings and they're going to be ousted. Tesla's going to be put in, and that's how the index works. It's always weeding out those that are not performing and adding in those that are performing. Taking profits on silver, topping out. I know a lot of people who have been taking profits on silver and are wishing they had not done that. I've heard. So trading 212, do they offer a CFD for the top 100 in cryptocurrency? Can anyone confirm that if that's true? Tesla is, yep, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've purposely kept people away from oil ever since here. It's because it's doing nothing, right? And look at that. The market is alive. The markets are alive, and oil is dead money, right? So we've avoided that. We were all over this. We were all over this like no one else, like nobody else. What was happening? But now it's not doing nothing. Stay away. Stay away. Is that getting ready to do something? Compared to what? Right? No. Yeah. So I don't think people are FOMOing yet. Like, so yeah. By the way, I did like that on the Twitter. And this is a great little tweet. Let's go ahead and how do I find that? Right over here. What happens when Robinhood traders discover silver? What is the price going to be when Robinhood traders discover silver? Robinhood tracker, this SLV, you could see them starting 113. It's not in the top 10. Will it be? I don't know. I just told my little nephew about silver today. We'll see. I don't think we're seeing any FOMO into precious metals whatsoever, or anything close to it. Just like when guys, everyone listen right now, when Bitcoin is trading at $20,000, making its new all-time high, when it's trading at $30,000, and I'm like, all right, now I'm going to stop accumulating Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin is not like, no one's FOMO'd into Bitcoin yet. Yeah, no one's FOMO'd into Bitcoin. At $100 silver, people will be FOMOing in, right? At $100,000 Bitcoin, at $50,000 Bitcoin, you'll see institutions FOMO in, but you'll see people FOMO in much higher levels than right now. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't follow European markets, equity markets. Murray, that's good, but that's a simple talk with yourself. That's a simple talk with yourself. You know that the whole idea of trading is literally to cut your losses short and let your winners run. That picking tops and bottoms is a loser's game, right? Those two things alone are the truth about trading. Right? Those two things alone are about the truth. Has anyone here ever tried to pick a top and had a good trade? For sure. And that's probably been the worst trade you ever made, because that then programmed your mind to believe that you can make good money by fading the market like that. That's how losers trade. You can't make this. There's no edge in that. There's no strategy to develop around that whatsoever. Buying off support, selling off resistance, that consistency. That's where it's at. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for clarity. Yep, Olando's all over. Olando's in Canada. They connect directly to TradingView also. Turtle rules do say that. That is true. All right. Pound. What's the pound doing today, by the way? Nothing. I'm just looking here at the pound, and everything's almost unchanged on the day. So yeah. Again, the market's kind of beautiful. The opportunities in the markets, that the pound has been not really one of them. I have not been focused there. Has anyone been focused on any pound pairs? Selling that we looked at that together as we came into that resistance, right? Does that look like it's getting ready to break down this support over here, the New Zealand dollar against the pound? It does to me, but the entry was all the way up here. In downtrend, you sell resistance, right? So over here now you're into support. What do? You do nothing. You just wait. You just wait until the next time it's into some type of resistance. Buying off support, is that a resumption off that support earlier today? Yes, right? That you could have taken. The price is basically right around the entry point right now. Yes, right? Pound US dollar, though, it doesn't seem like the most attractive. If the dollar makes another leg down, are you going to see this go ahead and take out this big resistance level? Yep. And if that happens, then at that point, are you going to see, a decent move on the pound? Yeah. It's just not the most exciting, in my opinion. And right now, FX is kind of in that, this is in no man's land. Is that leaning into support right now? If that resumes off, local support. See that, wow, there's nothing going on in all these pairs. You pull up the pairs that we've been focused on, and they've just made some huge expansions, whether it was the Euro US dollar guiding everyone towards, right? Or the Japanese yen pair, some nice moves. What about the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen also following like the Australian dollar? Look at that, has broken an important trend line over there. Let me extend that. Yeah, so we're seeing multiple instruments breaking these long-term trend lines, which leads me to believe that I don't want anyone to think this time's different type of thinking or anything like that, but does anyone think that we break this 12-year trend line on the Euro US dollar? Because I mean, I guess I'm kind of leaning towards that. That's a strong possibility that could happen. And I'm not saying we're going to blow through there, but we could come up into this. We could, hold this as resistance for a while, consolidate around that resistance, and then break out. I would not be surprised whatsoever. We are seeing some big trend lines being broken in the markets. Once we break the US dollar, Japanese yen trend line, this trend line over here, this 5-year trend line, that looks like something that I'll be involved in, whether we break down or up. But we just continue to consolidate, and there's nothing going on. There's so much going on. There's nothing going on over here. What we're trying to do is always stay focused on the markets that are moving and trending, stay away from those that are consolidating. And I think right now that the cross pairs are the ones that are consolidating, or and the majors are really taking off. I don't think the dollar is going to crash. Yeah, I think it could be a few years before we start seeing like real MMT in effect. Right now, we're seeing that politicians feel like they could spend, as do central banks. And we're seeing, whether it's going to be like free daycare and elderly care, got to take care of the boomers for, $1 trillion there, or it's going to be, $2 trillion on infrastructure. Like money's coming, and it's going to keep coming and increasing, and maybe a few years down the line, then the dollar starts to crash. But we are seeing the dollar beginning to give up some of its. It's still trading at 95, right? If we see a move back down towards the 90 level, that would be a big move. But even still, the dollar trading at 90 is pretty strong overall, right? It's pretty strong overall. So we'll see. I mean, for the record, I think that the EU is a joke, and it's going to break up and there's going to be fragmentations. You all know that. And that's a trade that I look forward to happening, because everyone knows I did not want to get long on the euro US dollar because I was hoping that we were going to break out down over here, this trend line. Breaking this trend line over here, down over here, that would have opened up a big move on the dollar, first testing the support down over here. Then if we broke that, that could have led to a huge move on the dollar against the euro. That's what I was hoping for. But when the technicals proved me wrong, I got long. And it's been a fantastic trade and continues to be. And that's the thing. Ultimately, again, I'm just a technician. I'm following what's happening on the markets. Yeah. What could they do though? That's one of the things that what could they do? The US actually has so much room to weaken the dollar if it wants to. So much room to weaken the dollar. And then the dollar has that paradox against it because it's a dollar debt-based system, and there simply are not enough dollars at any given time. That dollar shortage could rear its head again. And I think there will be a time in the future where that could happen for sure. I just don't know when that time will be, right? Is it going to be tomorrow, which a lot of people right now continue to position themselves for? Or is it going to be 6 years from now? That, I lean towards the latter. So we'll see. What would the trade be? You know, probably long dollars, short euros. Everything's up so far in gold. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, it's it looks like it's getting ready for another leg up over here as it tested the support and resumed off of it. That was the entry right over here at 79.50. However, is that where you want to put your money to work on the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen? Seeing some really nice moves here on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, some on the euro, Japanese yen. And I just took profits, my first small profits off of both these trades now. This morning, a little bit of profit taking this morning. These moves have gotten a little extended, coming into an area of, let's see what happens. Still looking for consolidation and then resumption. We're looking after these moves now for price to consolidate here to allow us for further legs. Not the time to be taking new positions. What else do we have going on this morning? Markets are treading water, right? You can see that. Markets are kind of treading water. Today finally, and that's good, right? Because the markets have been pretty nice set of waves, I have to say it. It's been beautiful summer trading. Today feels like a summer day with not much happening, not much going on, right? Unless you're trading the silver futures, then you've had a wild ride this morning. But it looks like we're in the summer. Yeah, I don't think banks ever recover, personally, right? So we have, the new banking is taking over one way or the other. Are we going to see something like corporations who, like Facebook, will Facebook become a bank with the launch of the Libra? And you're seeing right now China is launching Alibaba Pay, right? Is that true? Is it public companies? No, that's not true. Again, I'm not going to talk about something that I'm always like have my feelers out like all of you, trying to get all the information and only paying attention to what is most important, which is why I focus here on these charts. But is there going to become a time soon when either Libra and or something like it is launched by a corporation? Are they sure they'll have to get banking license and do whatever they do? Who knows how Square does it? But Square, that's the future of banking. Bank of America, not so much. AntPay. Something happened with AntPay these past few days. I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, again, this is not a double top. We're going to see much higher. This move looks sharp and big, and some people think it is. If you go back, let's go back to 2008, right? So pretend you were looking at this today. Pretend you were looking at this today. You just went through the Lehman crisis. Fed starts QE. Well, we don't really know what that is. That's going to cause inflation, right? Everyone thought that it was going to cause inflation, and it did. It inflated asset prices. It sent gold and silver skyrocketing, right? And it also sent equities on a 12-year bull run. If you were looking at this right here on January the 25th, 2012, you would think, oh my goodness, the Nasdaq is way overbought. This thing has gotten ahead of itself and it doesn't make sense because the economy is still struggling. We've lost all the high paying jobs. Wages are not increasing. Healthcare costs are going up. Education costs are going up. Rent's going up. This is not a good situation. And then, you know, what happened? Oh yeah, look, I was right. I sold the top. You know, you were just dead wrong for years. And then what happened now? What happened now? Same exact thing. Crisis. Fed just goes to work. And what happens? Markets are so overbought. The markets are so overbought right now. You know, where we, you know, what I've said we're going to see 4,100 on the S&P. How long that takes, we will see. Yep. And this bubble is much bigger than the dot-com bubble. This is the everything bubble. This is the mother of all bubbles. And yeah, of course it's much. Nasdaq currently is much more appealing. Wow, I didn't realize that. That's interesting. That's interesting. and that's true though. That comment that if you ever used Alipay before, which I have not, then you understand why you should own Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Alipay is a centralized system where everything is controlled. Actually, if you jaywalk crossing the street, not at the proper place, they just ticket you and deduct money straight out of your Alipay. That's the problem with centralized systems. Bitcoin is that vote for freedom in the future. It is not anonymous. There's nothing anonymous about Bitcoin. However, no one could tell you whether or not you could use the network. Thank you. I like going down that little that. Thank you, Paolo. I am 100% of technician. We've looked at that in this live stream today when I've pointed out on the euro US dollar how that I was actually quite bearish on the euro. But when the technicals gave me that buy signal, I didn't care. I just followed it, right? I am a technician, but you have to follow the macro. You have to line both up. You have to line both up, and that's when the magic happens. That's what's happening right now in Bitcoin with its 4-year cycle. That's what's happening with Bitcoin's monetary policy, and now twisted with the Federal Reserve's monetary policy. You got some magic about to happen. That's what's happening here with precious metals. And that's what's going to continue to happen over here. That's what's happening with stocks. Only stocks are the riskier investment, in my opinion, out of all of them. Stock market is the riskier investment right now when you're looking. It's so funny, right? You talk to someone who's invested only in the public markets about Bitcoin, and they think you're crazy. But which is a riskier investment? Would I buy GBTC or I would buy BTC on Coinbase if those are my only two options. Yeah, we're getting ready. It's going to be big as the Chinese. I saw the Chinese are linking their digital yuan. I think it's 7 different ecosystems, including Ethereum, including Neo, including Linked. So, you know, the Chinese, it's so bizarre. I don't know how it all works, but they have put a lot of thought, obviously, a lot of time. They are trying to digitize the yuan to gain its adoption. That is further de-dollarization. And I'm not saying that the digital yuan is going to catch on anytime soon or anything like that. but it will be taking share away from the US dollar, and it's over. Right now, the dollar accounts for about 70% of all global transactions. If that's dwindled away to 58%, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's what's happening right now. I mean, copper's okay. So it's also not exciting. Copper's up, what, 50% off its copper off 50% off the crisis lows over here into some resistance. And yeah, so we'll see. We're talking about now as the U.S. Looks to spend money on infrastructure that would absolutely benefit copper, but not the most exciting. Thanks, Gene. Way to keep it cool and productive in here. These big moves, days can get wild. It's manic. And when you're on the right side, yeah, it's nice being on the right side and in control and being able to ride those waves. And you can't ride the waves unless you're willing to push them. Always good. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's right, Kips. Rory, you know what? I think you should go back and skim through the broadcast 100% because right now these moves that we've seen some really beautiful waves come, and how much further of an extension you're going to get over here. Not yet. You could see. Look, Rory. You see this move over here? Now we're looking for the consolidation phase. Is it possible that you get another leg up even during London over here and, continuing this sharp move we're seeing? Yeah, that's possible. The aggressive might want to be looking for that. I'm more comfortable holding the positions I'm in and giving the markets some time. I don't know if that's 12 hours. I don't know if it's 48 hours, or I don't know if it's into next week. But right now, I am perfectly happy after riding some beautiful, 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 beautiful waves of just watching the water for a minute and see what's happening next. It's possible. I think we're going to see some volatility because of Tesla's earnings. I think a lot of people are waiting on that, and it looks like the market is actually waiting for that. Kind of like on a Fed day, when you have the market almost still up until the volatility comes later on. That's the thing that stinks about trading stocks, is that after earnings are released, shortly thereafter, the markets are closed down until tomorrow morning. What the heck is that? Yeah, that's an important part of trading. That's an important part of trading. That's an important part. So that's where we're at this morning. It's a dollar story, but the dollar's made a big move. Let's see if we get any strong moves into the London close today. How come I'm not extending the resistance line on the S&P 500? Yeah, which resistance line? The support line over here, you mean, or this line over here? That's I'm not paying attention to that. Right? I'm not paying attention to this line over here. If you extend it up, I'll show you what that looks up. I'll show you what that looks like. I'll tell you what I'm paying attention to. All right, you can see that, right? That line over there. But I'm paying attention to what's going on horizontally. I always pay attention, give more weight to what happens horizontally. And you could see over here, after this big resistance was broken at 32.32, you could see the type of chart pattern we just put in, right? And now a breakout. That's what I'm focused in on. That's what I'm focused in on right there. Now, a break of this horizontal support at 31.23 coincides with that trend line over here. If we lose that level, that's where we would start taking a shot at the downside and see what was happening over there. But, that's why. Thank you for that. Do appreciate that. And all I ask is just go ahead and smash that like button if you enjoy it. Do you always do markups on the 8 hour? I only trade off the 8 hour chart when you're trading FX. Excuse me. 8 hour time frame is phenomenal. 8 hour time frame is phenomenal. If you're not yet profitable, you'd follow this channel. Follow what we do on the FX currency pairs on the 8 hour time frame. Thank you. Thanks for being here, everyone, this morning, today. 600 people, 400 likes, and fuego. When do Microsoft earnings come out? Oh, seeing those thumbs getting smashed. I appreciate that. S&P 500 is not attractive to go long at current price when the Fed is not involved. The Fed is involved. The Fed is actually, what are we looking at? $80 billion a month. The Fed is monetizing debt, inflating asset prices. Yep. It's the little guy. It's the little guy. Could the Fed ever pull back from the stimulus? So anyone who remembers, by the way, the Fed started its first QE in December, of 2008. And it took them 10 years to begin pulling away liquidity. It took them 10 years to begin pulling away liquidity and the tightening rates, right? Raising rates. And when they started doing that, what happened was they broke everything. They literally broke everything. You saw the market crash down over here. And then you saw Steve Mnuchin call every bank CEO, get to work. And then all of a sudden, the markets, boom, rallied up. We were looking at the markets here not as if they were in good shape. We saw what bad shape they were in. But then we had the COVID crash. And then the response by the Fed, which was really quick and really big, right? But because of that, we're seeing the repercussions, right? And that's all just getting started. A couple of months, that's a good amount of time. I'm glad you're here with us. I'm glad to be learning with you and sharing with you. So appreciate that. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend anyone move to Mexico or relocate to Mexico um, for safety reasons. I would not recommend that whatsoever. I don't think that's a good and smart decision, especially when you look at what's going on politically with the country. They do have socialists in control right now, right? They're very close with Maduro in Venezuela and in solidarity with them. They are. It's not really. It's not really a place that you'd probably want to look to go ahead and build roots and a future. I'd love to hear that, Tom. People making profits. I really, really love to hear, and we do hear that often. That's what it's all about. So thank you for sharing that, Tom. That's awesome. I'm serious. I mean, I've lived here in Mexico for 8 years. I feel like I could give that type of opinion, and it's the right one. Things have changed. Before I got to Mexico, things were quite violent. Things had cooled off since the time I've been here, but over the past year have been deteriorating quickly. Actually, people are looking to get out, not get in. Yep. The whole world is going nuts. Yeah, that's awesome. Of course. Of course. No, no. Going to Cancun, going to Cabos, going to Puerto Vallarta. Absolutely phenomenal, safe, amazing. When I say safe, I mean, of course, you could go to the Bahamas and something could happen, but of course, those are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful places to go visit. Um, and definitely, definitely. And Guadalajara is so beautiful. The people in Guadalajara are some of the most beautiful people on the face of the planet. There's no question about that. Really, really beautiful, kind people. Guadalajara is beautiful. Love to hear people making the profits. Love to hear the people making the profits. Yeah, how beautiful. I've never been. We're hoping to go. Would love to go. Hometown. Beautiful. Can you imagine living in a resort? Thomas, way to do it. All right, so the market's kind of at a standstill still. We'll see what happens. Silver, that was that the buying opportunity? Was that the dip? I sincerely would have bought silver here if I had a way to do that. I didn't at the time. That was a quick spike down 7%. I noticed and saw it after. I did get the linked and I got the Tezos dip. They were down 15% when I saw them, and I didn't even think about it because you all know that I have 20%. I have not invested in anything outside of Bitcoin over here, and that was it. Alex, man, absolutely. Thanks for being here with us. I do appreciate that. And, it's quite rewarding seeing so many people actually becoming profitable traders, enjoying it all with you. Those that are still working hard and struggle, I love being there with you. Those that are really working hard, right? And then seeing that transformation, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you all. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I a month ago, I went to the States for immigration purposes. I traveled home to San Francisco, traveled back. That's huge. 10% in one day. Let's make sure though that you are always, and all of you are using, always worried about your risk. I'm always worried about risk, right? Gains are nice. Don't get excited about them. Always be aware of how much we're risking. Make sure that we do that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. We're going to go out with some music here right now. It's been a beautiful day. I thank all of you and looking forward to this afternoon session and to tomorrow's. We should go out with Silver. Silver today. Putting on a show. Well, it's something we've been watching for a while, but I don't know that could actually cause the dollar to go bid in my opinion. We'll watch what happens next year. But right now through the election, we have to get through the election first. Next year, that could put a bid into the dollar. We'll look at that this afternoon. We did look at that maybe about 10 minutes ago in the live stream. Pull that back. Every single altcoin, including Ethereum, is completely dependent upon Bitcoin. It's like the U.S. dollar in the regular fiat system.